Well, good afternoon, friends. Today, May 2nd of 2011, we are at the Pigeon Point boat landing, which is at the terminus of Pigeon Point Road. One moment. As I was saying, before being interrupted by the sound of freedom, we're also in the flight path of the Marine Corps Air Station. Pigeon Point Road, we're at the terminus of Pigeon Point Road in beautiful Beaufort by the bay. And I see I'm going to have a little company here today. Looks like there are some folks crabbing and fishing. And I'm going to be throwing my cast net and seeing what we can come up with today. I would hope to find a couple of small look-down fish. I would hope to find a small burr puffer, but that remains to be seen. We'll just see what we can see. Looks like the water is taking your crab traps up underneath. So I won't be disturbing y'all too much when I cast my net out in here. And I don't know how many times I'm going to throw with this wind in the face, because it can affect the camera. Just see. Now, you folks viewing the video, I'm throwing a cast net. It's a relatively small one, 5 feet. In a future video, you will be instructed on how to throw a cast net. Now, the tide is still going out. We're due on low water in a few more minutes. And absolutely nothing in the net, which isn't particularly surprising. By the end of July, actually mid-July to the end of July, we should start seeing some small shrimp here. That remains in question this year. We had a very tough winter offshore, and according to the Department of Natural Resources, experienced winter kill. It's possible that up to 90% of the overwintering white shrimp died this winter. The Department of Natural Resources will not be opening the roe shrimp season until sometime in June. And then we'll have a better handle on how many shrimp made it through the winter to spawn. Again, nothing in the cast net. It's very early in the season. I don't know when the creatures that I'm trying to collect right now to replace animals at the estuarium are going to start to show up, or where they will show up. This is simply one of the areas that I've had success in the past regarding collecting species. I'd also hoped to collect a small crab, small blue crab in the range of a half an inch to an inch down here today. Alright, here we have a little guy that's in the net. This is a little croaker fish. And you can hear the gulls above. The gulls would like me to feed this croaker fish to them, but I'm not going to. Nor is he going back to the estuary. He just went back in the river. So have you guys caught any crab at all today?
Just two.
Two crab. And you've been here how long?
About 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours. 2
or 3 hours for two crab. That doesn't break down to a very good return on investment of time, does it? With only two crab being caught in the last 2 or 3 hours, you just getting started fishing? Just getting started. I'm not going to be throwing this net many more times. I'm throwing into the wind, which is with a wet net, which is creating a spray which could do bad things to the neck, the estuary and helmet can. One more time. I'll see if anything comes up. I threw with the wind that time. Again, nothing in the net. Oh, what have we here? A baby flounder. All right, that is an animal that I do want today. Get some water here. Now, I get this little guy out of the net. This is a little flounder who will be going and taking up residence at the estuary. Now, there's one thing I need to get out of the van, and so I'm going to shut this down for a moment and be... Alright, the reason I had to go back to the van was I neglected to bring these with me when I came down. A simple set of nail clippers. I ask that anytime you go out to throw your cast net, you take along a set of nail clippers with you. The reason for that is oftentimes small fish, and I'm lucky this little flounder didn't do it, oftentimes small fish will get gill hung in your net. Small flounder, small sea trout, especially in the spring, little speckled sea trout, and they are in trouble now. But if you get a fish gill hung in your net, it's a very simple thing to simply go down and where the line is around the throat of the animal, you simply cut one strand, and that makes a large enough opening for the animal to escape. It's not going to do much damage to your net, and every winter I take my nets and some monofilament line, and I go back and I tie together all those places that are torn in my net, either because I got hung up on oyster shell or because I had to cut a few strands to release gill hung fish. Now, as I said, I'm only going to throw a couple more times. When I came here, I was hoping to get a couple of lookdowns and perhaps a little burr puffer fish, and I was surprised to get the little flounder. The flounder I expected to catch at another location. We'll be going in a couple of days, and instead I find him here. One thing about what I do is I can have a list of creatures that I would like to catch when I go. Invariably I don't, but I always get something unexpected and something that makes the trip worthwhile, and the little flounder has made today worthwhile. Throw one more time. Another little croaker and a small blue crab. The blue crab is too small to keep, and yet he's larger than a small blue crab that I'm looking for. I'm looking for a very small one. There we have the blue crab going back into the river, and here we have what I was talking about. We have a little gill hung croaker. So I'm going to get my nail clippers. You see this little guy flopping about in the net? This is what I mean by gill hung. Now, all I have to do is cut one strand, and the little guy is free. There's another one, also gill hung. I cut one strand, and he is free. I'm not taking any of these little guys today. Don't need them yet. That's the last I'm going to throw here. There's another area here at Pigeon Point that I'm going to go throw from right now. We'll be there in just a few minutes. I'm going to shut this down for now.